They threw Coca-Cola on a black woman at work. Her billionaire husband walks in and fires everyone. The corporate office was buzzing that afternoon, the kind of place where polished shoes clicked on marble floors and laughter echoed only when the managers laughed first. Alicia, a quiet black woman in her 30s, moved through the lobby with a tray of drinks. She wasn't a manager, not an executive, not even part of the meeting. She was the assistant, the one everyone overlooked. But today, the whispers were louder than usual. She's only here because they needed diversity. Bet she begged HR for this position. I wouldn't trust her with a stapler, let alone a client. She heard it all. She always did. At the conference table, a group of junior executives leaned back in their chairs, smirking. When Alicia bent down to serve one of them a Coke, he sneered. You know, Alicia, this is the only job people like you are fit for. Before she could respond, he tipped the glass forward. The Coke spilled across her blouse, cold and sticky, dripping down her arms. Laughter erupted around the table. One executive even snapped a photo on his phone. Look at that, he chuckled. Guess she can't even stay clean. Alicia froze. Her face burned, her hands trembled. But she said nothing. She simply turned, fighting back tears, and started gathering the empty cans. And then the room went silent, because the glass doors at the back of the conference room swung open. A tall man in a perfectly tailored suit stepped inside. His presence shifted the air instantly. The chatter died. The executives scrambled to their feet. It was Alexander Grant, the billionaire founder. The man whose signature built the company. But he wasn't looking at the suits. His eyes locked on Alicia, her blouse soaked, her hands shaking, her dignity trampled. Alicia. His voice softened. What happened? One of the executives cleared his throat nervously. Just a little accident, sir. Nothing serious. But Alexander's jaw tightened. His gaze shifted to the puddle of Coke on the table. Then to the smirks fading from their faces. And then, in a voice cold enough to freeze the room, he said, accidents don't come with laughter. The executives paled. Alexander walked straight to Alicia, taking off his jacket and draping it over her shoulders. You don't have to stay here another second, he whispered. Then he turned back to the table. His next words cut through the silence like a blade. You're all fired. Effective immediately. Gasps filled the room. One man stammered, Sir, you can't be serious, we're your top team. Alexander slammed his hand on the table. You humiliated my wife. The world seemed to stop. The executives froze, horror spreading across their faces. The assistants in the hall who had gathered to watch covered their mouths. Alicia's eyes widened. She hadn't wanted anyone to know, not about her marriage, not about the life she kept separate from this place. But now, the truth stood in the open. Alexander wrapped his arm around her. This woman has more strength and dignity than all of you combined. She stood by me when I had nothing. And you, his glare swept across the room, you thought you could degrade her. Not in my company. Not in my lifetime. Security arrived within minutes, escorting the stunned executives out of the building. Phones buzzed, whispers spread, and by the end of the day, the story was everywhere. The assistant they mocked, the woman they humiliated, wasn't just a nobody. She was the wife of the men who signed their paychecks. And as Alicia left the building at her husband's side, the same employees who once whispered now stepped back in silent respect. Because humiliation turned to power in a single moment, when the world learned who she truly was.